round scores, the average is typically 1 or 2 under par. Like your most common single round scores are your 70s, your 71.
Sergio has been like, I can't wait to leave this place. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. And welcome in, everyone. Tuesday night here again. We're an hour later than normal. It's 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. But hey, we pivot on this show. That's what we do. And speaking of pivot, look, we are wrapping up the PGA season today. Well, we wrapped it up already, but we're going to talk about the wrap-up of it here tonight. But before we get into that, as always, Mr. Bud Copeland, welcome to the studio.
What's shaking, folks? Thanks for our throngs of fans who waited the extra hour for us to go live. I appreciate it. Daddy daycare flying solo with my sugar mama in the city tonight. So I had to, it was a battle. It was a struggle, man. Cooper Rose turned 2 and all of a sudden she has opinions and thinks, well, she is in charge, let's be honest. But like you said, it's exciting times because we got the good news last week. We're gonna be out in Bolton, Mass. Part of the crowds at the Live Golf International, which I like the intro there because I stand by my words. Sergio threw a tantrum. He did get kind of screwed over on that countdown and everything. But I mean, let's be honest. It's how you conduct yourself in the bad times too. So it's going to be fun to get out there, say hey to some folks, shake some hands, meet some people, spread the belly up in the divots and pivots love, and really kind of see what this feeling's all about. We'll get into it in a minute. Obviously, we got some tidying up to do before there's that nice little short hiatus, and we go back to whatever the hell the PGA Tour is doing. Like I don't know which season we're about to enter. I know we're gonna have a little bit of a gap. People are bitching about Wentworth because there's gonna be some live guys at the DP Tour event and whatever, and I'm already off the rails. It's what a 2-year-old will do to you. But as you said at the top, we got some stuff to tidy up on the tour, and then we've got some stuff to look forward to with Live. And I'm chomping at the bit to get the feeling. Everybody says, it's a vibe, it's a scene, and that's what they were going for. They want a little party, a little competition, a little professional golf, and it's gonna be fun to get out there and see what happens because there is no tour. There's nothing competing. It's not like there's anything going on this weekend in that world of golf. I mean, obviously the LPGA Tour is still cruising. And before we circle back and actually, start having a show, if you're joining us now, thanks. The show's already in progress, obviously. First of all, Jill McGill won the U.S. Senior Women's Open or U.S. Senior Women's Amateur. I can't remember which one. U.S. Senior Women's Open. She won the 3rd time. Anytime you can claim 3 championships of a national, it's come on. But Joanne, it's Carner, not Garner. I always think of James Garner, the actor. Sure. Wonderful work in Maverick with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster. It's a phenomenal movie. Go back and watch it. Clint Black does some great music for it too. See it. It's about like 30 years old. But Joanne Carner at 83 shoots her age for like the 5th or 6th row or whatever in the U.S. Senior Open. So there's some pretty cool stuff going on in the world of golf. And for a hot minute this upcoming Friday, we are going to be at the Nexus at the center. Yeah. And I was reflecting on it with a friend of mine who's over in Scotland, and we were talking golf, and I was like, it is kind of cool if you think about this. We don't know where this could go. USFL in the early 80s could have been the next big thing, and it fizzled out. This could be the next big thing. It could fizzle out. I don't like to make predictions because everybody's been wrong. Everybody's been wrong. That's the nature of this work. But it could be something huge, and we could be there and get to look back and say, like, we were at ground zero at this huge inflection point in the world of golf. And so it's kind of cool to be around the world's biggest sports story this weekend. Well,
that it's funny that you bring that up because I had commented on another content provider's Twitter earlier today, or it might, it was yesterday. He was
another content. I like how you say that. F those guys.
I just don't want to mess.
Shall not be named. No, I get you.
I just don't want to mess his name up. I think it's Brian Kirshner.
Okay. Yeah.
I've talked to him before. I've been in some DK competitions with him before. Good guy. But he put a post out there saying that he thinks it's pretty clear that he's not handling PGA Tour No PGA Tour golf this week, but Liv. He said, "Why the fuck hasn't Liv made an announcement yet of the new gets ahead for the Liv Boston this weekend?" This is obviously the other day, so we hadn't heard about all your Cameron Smith, which we knew about Cameron Smith. We didn't get the full list of names of guys who are doing, as we say, the mass exodus now. So I just commented and said, "Oh well, I'll let you know what the feel is down there. We're gonna be there." It's gonna. Someone commented and just said, "Why?" To my comment, like why we're going to cover it, and I just said, I simply said something along the lines of like, well, I mean, it's a major story in the golf world right now, and as someone who wants to make it in this industry, like, why would I not go cover this and talk about this? And his response though was that, oh yeah, Schwartzel, Grayson, Stenson don't shout relevance to me, and I'm like, okay, fine. I said I agree. So then I listed off all the major champion winners that are also in the field, and I was like, I keep
world
going.
Number
Like,
ones.
look, but like you said, this is the biggest golf story as a whole outside of an individual player.
It's the biggest thing really since the WGCs.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Since they brought that in to, shake it up a little bit.
Which, ironically enough, some of that format is getting sprinkled about. And everything about Phil is redeemed. The PGA Tour came out with all their changes. And Phil was right all along. No, I think we've gone back to, I don't think Phil was an asshole about it or anything. I think a lot of things just kind of the stars aligned in a bad way where the book came out and the interview was leaked and it's just kind of like, damn, you expect certain conversations to be maybe off the record. Who knows? I mean, I would never in a million years fault my friend, close friend and fan of the show, Alan Shipnuck. Actually, the Fire Pit Collective, what they started is pretty dope. Not to mention other content providers, but now I see why you did that. You wanted to be a class act because we are classy here at Divots and Pivots. But it's just the fact that it all came out and how it came out. It matters, man. I mean, if you can drink a gallon of water, one cup at a time slowly and you're fine, or you can try to shotgun it and you might shock your system and kill yourself. It's which is a true story. You can look up people who drink water too fast in competitions and it shocks them or something. You can actually drink too much water. So maybe Phil was clumsy about it. Maybe he was a little too loose-lipped because, he is kind of a shoot from the hip kind of guy. And maybe he did get a little too big for his britches. He even admitted himself, he did a lot of work on him and perspective and whatnot. So to Joe Shit the Ragman going, why doesn't speak relevance? My question to him is, fair enough, man. Make me jealous. What are you going to be doing while I'm inside the ropes at Live Golf, staring at world number ones sitting there hitting the ball?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
And look,
you got courtside at a Lakers game that I don't know about.
And I'm not going to stress out. This is something both you and I want to do. We don't want to just be doing this at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night on Tuesday night. We would love to, someday, somewhere down the road, do this full time.
Whoa! You got ahead of yourself. I didn't know this was part of the deal. I've allotted 75 minutes a month. No, I get where you're going.
Your contract is up. Okay, I get it. But but what I'm saying is but if we as someone who has excitement for this, of course I'm going to get up and excited to have a chance to step out there alongside these. Some of them legends, some of them up and comers. There's a whole mix of guys. And yeah, sure, we talk about how we are still more so in favor of the PGA as a whole and the history and all that. We've talked about that, but we've also been open to the idea that maybe the Live Tour is going to offer something. It may stay around, it may not, but it's going to offer a new perspective to the world of golf. And why wouldn't we be excited to go out there and look at it?
What's hilarious about it is, what do you mean why? Because it's relevant. It's a sports story. I just don't get that way. People who try to snarkily be like, okay, the sarcasm that comes across. What are you trying to, the thing about Billy Horschel gave a very real, right after the FedEx Cup is over, interview where he talked about, Cam Smith. And he's like, I love that kid. He was tearing up. He's like, and if this happens, he's like, I'm going to miss my fishing buddy. We got to remember these are human beings. They're making business decisions. Harold Varner Jr. III came out with his statement. He said, basically too good of a business opportunity for my family and my goals in life to pass up.
Get it.
For some of these people, there are things that are bigger than majors. There are things that are bigger than wins because they're doing different kinds of math. I think of like guys like Nick Chubb or Tim Tebow who have had massive. I mean, they're all world, athletes and football players. But you ask them what their purpose is, and Nick Chubb wants to retire in a few years, go back to Chubbtown and help grow his community that his family started. Tim Tebow is going to be saving the world for the rest of his life.
Sure.
Football was was on the way. So everybody's got their path and their destination. And for these 48 dudes, there are 7 world number ones. There's a bunch of major winners. There's some up and comers. You think about how much great golf exists, and maybe it has been hiding. Maybe this is going to free some of it up in an odd way. It automatically grows the game. Again, whether it's pretty or not, it's kind of like, tossing a boulder into a pond. There's going to be ripple effects, and whether or not that has permanent repercussions or not, we'll see. But it's not like there's a bunch of, I get it. Cam Smith came out and wants to spend more time in Australia, and, the money obviously is like, how do I turn down an offer like this? So, it's easy for Twitter Joe and Sarah to be out there, lobbing mortars going, I would never. I would.
Sure.
I mean, it's tough. It's so tough. And, to the families who want to protest, because there was somebody the other day, and I think I used this on a recent show, who's having a similar conversation about virtue signaling through actions and, who you choose to employ and do. And all he asked the person was, do you have an iPhone?
Exactly.
And they were like, well, yeah. And he goes, then shut the fuck up. Because, the whole,
or
all goes back
all that stuff away.
Yeah. I mean, and if that's you, do you, but don't, ye without sin and when you're in glass houses, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I feel that way because my whole thing about LIV has been, it's just fun to watch. These guys are excellent and they're incredible at what they do. And like I said before, if I was in Washington Square or whatever it is in New York City, where like the world-class chess hustlers are, I'll park my ass there for 2 hours with a coffee just to watch, because I'll watch anybody do anything at a world-class level.
I watched the hell out of the Queen's Gambit. That was a fantastic show.
My little brother, 19 years old, my little brother-in-law went and got a pawn tattooed on his wrist. And I normally don't judge, but he's family, so I can. I did tell him, I was like, that was the the Queen's Gambit was good.
That was good.
Queen's Gambit was real good. Speaking of, actually, there's no way to soft transition that back to Rory. Let's just go back to the FedEx Cup because we're elbow deep in LIV. And
let's cycle back for a hot minute, and we'll get back to the excitement of LIV excitement for us because we'll be there on ground level, like you said.
God, my allergies have been absolutely murdering me these last few days.
Look, I don't think the PGA would have preferred it from the standpoint of PGA versus LIV. If that's how they're looking at it, Rory winning was the perfect ending for them because he's been the most outspoken. He's been like their
he's the face of the tour. He's the
face of the tour. Yeah, and so him to come out and win, like, I'm sure they love that. But look, he played some phenomenal golf over the last few months. Like, he was lights out for a while there. Yeah, he had a few rounds here or there where, us who played him in DFS, grumbled about him here and there a little bit. But on the whole of a golfer's performance, he was money. He deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, and he also another Varden Trophy, 4-time winner, lowest scoring average. Yep. And the only other people who've had a scoring average in his neighborhood were Tiger, who did it like 19 times, and then Vijay Singh. Everybody else has been, higher. So, I mean, like you said, and he was class act. He went and, apologized to Scotty Scheffler's family, and, they were so sweet. With Scotty's wife was like, you played amazing. Scotty's, it was a really cool, it was a gentlemanly scene. It does remind you that they're okay, not to go back into the other area, but I mean, when there is a little extra on the line or tradition, again, PGA Tour has been around forever. Give LIV some time. Maybe it grows to that point. And maybe these tournaments take on this kind of meaning. Yeah. But in the moment there, it was amazing. I mean, I saw a clip on PGA Tour's social media where a producer asked him while he was signing autographs. By the way, I know I probably sound great. Like I said, my allergies are just freaking killing me. But he's sitting there signing flags, and the producer, from social media just says, how many strokes back were you? He goes, I started the day 6 back. He's like, I was 6 back after the first hole or something like that, or going to the first hole. And then the producer reminded him, he goes, yeah, then you were also 10 back after 3. That's another part where I was like, oh my God. Yeah, he started 6. Yeah, Scotty made, it was going to be real ugly there real quick. And then just 11 one putts.
Just turned
11
it on.
one putts, and Scotty shoots 2-3 over, and that was the ball game.
Yeah. But look, a lot of guys that we talked about being right there were right there. We talked about Sanjay and we talked about Xander and Rory. Like we look, I'm pumped for Max Homa too, finishing top 5. Like Max Homa, I just love Max Homa. I saw he celebrated the following day. He went out to the Elijah Craig, the whiskey, the distillery there, and he did a photo shoot with them and a little PR thing with them. So that's good awesome. For Max Homa for really making a name for himself here over the past year or two. I love me some Max Homa.
Speaking of somebody who,
yeah, there it is.
God, had to get something to just kind of flush this out. Cam Young, I like Cam Young comes out and says, after a lot of thinking about it, I'm going to stick around. He's another one who had a decent season, great finish. He's another friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah.
Friend of the show. Rory had a great dig about his win too. He's like, it is nice when you take the lead on the 70th hole of the tournament. He goes, or maybe the 52nd if you play somewhere else, which I thought was a funny little joke.
Just kind of funny. I didn't hear that one, but I like that.
Yeah. But he did. You hang around, and it just goes to show how effing hard it is to win these golf tournaments. Even if you're spotted, however many shots Scotty was spotted, and then he had that huge cushion. It's a tough game. It's a tough way to finish. In the end, you could not have written a better finish. The de facto alpha, whenever Tiger is not around, wins, comes from behind, barely ekes out a win over the next.
Ricky, because Ricky's Tiger's number 2 now. So,
oh God, I hope Ricky. I want to know where he landed. I know he made the FedEx Cup playoffs, but I don't know how they're doing their whole tour card exemptions.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I don't know. Because they did say they're still maintaining the other rankings, probably for legal reasons. They have to, because those guys are still going to get bonused. I'm pretty sure some of those live guys who finished and qualified still are entitled to those bonuses that they earned. They just don't get to go compete.
So he finished 123rd in the final FedEx Cup standings.
But that was after they removed the live guys.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he has.
I get what you're saying. Year. Yeah, how it's going to all play out in the end. But yeah, so that's that was the tour championship, and look what talking about being up and having a comfortable lead. You came into this final week on our little DraftKings back and forth with like a 200-point lead or something like that.
Insurmountable is the way it was pronounced.
How did you do? What was your score? Because we forgot to actually have the challenge against each other so that we could watch each other's scores. I forgot to send that over to you, so I don't have no clue how your score did. As you look it up, we'll just and I'll fill the space here. Because look, I forget which one I even sent you for which lineup I was going to play. Because like I said, I played like 19.
Oh, well, then I'm just going to lie and said I had a bajillion points.
All I know is that I can tell you for sure that my top lineup out of all those lineups scored 607.
Oh, mine was 608. No, 517 and a half. So,
okay. So
regardless, I think I held on.
Don't win.
Yeah, but I mean, we got another season just around the corner. I'm curious. Is DK doing anything are they doing? Is there fantasy for Liv?
Let me pull that up before. I don't. There is not. No. And I don't think I've seen it to this point either. So, hold on. They have Live Tour showdowns.
I know.
So why isn't it up here? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So they just do They just do 1 round showdown lineups though.
Okay.
But I'm assuming you can't pick. You can pick your golfers now, even though so it's not going to. It's just they're just going the individual golfer base. They're not going the same kind of format as where the teams matter, because the live format. The top only your 2 best scorers on the team count like in round 1, and then or however it's broken down, and then once you move on to the next,
we should probably learn about that.
It's the top three scores.
That's the other thing. It's confusing. I just want to see good golf, and does the low golfer. I guess when it comes to the individual side of it, it doesn't matter all that BS. The low person's going to take home. But
let's talk about this, because from a DK standpoint, say this was just your random, early spring, early summer tournament on the PGA for a DK contest, we would look at this player field and say, all right, there's some meat on this bone. Because you got DJ, you got Cameron Smith, Taylor Gooch, Neiman, DeChambeau, Casey, Oosthuizen, Koepka, like Sergio, Reed, like all these guys are on the first page of your DK roster options. For a normal PGA tournament, we'd be looking to say, okay, we can do something with this week. I don't look at it as any different than the LIV. Yes, the field is smaller, but if you're gonna play fantasy golf for LIV this week, there's options. And then once you look at, once you find out who guys are playing with on the team, that could affect how some of these guys play. And we know so far that, some of the lesser known guys are coming out and winning these tournaments. There's value out there. You just got to find it. I think there's money to be made on the LIV Tour, because I don't think a lot of people are playing it on DK yet, is what I'm trying to get at.
For sure. I'm stuck on, there was something that was bugging me about the format, because I do like the shotgun style, everybody out there at the same time. I think it's kind of cool and unique, but I don't like it for all 3 days, because come Sunday, I want to know where the final putt's going to be. I want to know where the potential for that is. I mean, you could be sitting there on the 7th hole, and because 3 other people do some weird stuff, I mean, all of a sudden that putt rate. I don't know how to explain it other than watching Scotty and Rory come down the back 9 and knowing exactly where to have your focus, because now in the era of digital, I'm thinking of the live experience, right? Like on site, because obviously in a TV truck, they have enough production, they can get savvy enough to start flying around with their shots and say, this is it, folks, right here. And that's actually what I think they're going for, is to try to lean into that simultaneous action, instead of everybody take your turn and let the pressure mount. I'd be curious to ask some of the guys, maybe if we can get to somebody who's won, Hendrik Stenson, or who won, was it? Charles Schwartzel win? I know Brendan Grace has won.
And I think that's what the guy on Twitter was getting. He was listing their winners. So it was Schwartzel, it was Stenson, it was Grace.
Right. I mean, which, by the way, I think those are all major winners too. No, Brendan Grace didn't win a major. He just shot like 62 or 63.
Yeah, Grace didn't, but
anyway,
Stenson and Schwartzel, yeah.
From a player's perspective, the winners. What was that like? What hole did you finish on? You're sitting there standing over a 4-footer on the 6th hole because you shotgun start it. They obviously reset, and I'm sure the leaders go off on 1 on the final day. So you might be in a position, I'm sure, to, it's not just gonna be random. They probably do reset according to score, and the leaders go off on 1. And if you're, bottom goes off on 18. Well, that still doesn't guarantee you, that's where that finish is going to be. Somebody goes nuts out, and all of a sudden now the action's on hole 6 because somebody shot 59. It's like, whoa.
Well, and there's also a different experience from the player in live, from the player winning standpoint, that the enjoying of the winning experience, to where, when you finish on 18th and the scorer's tent is right there, and you immediately walk through the crowd to go get your scores. Like, literally, as you're signing your scorecard, knowing you just won a tournament, you can still hear the crowd roaring for you right outside the tent. Like, the atmosphere is all there. Do you think that, say you finish out on hole 6 or 13, furthest away you can be from the clubhouse and the scorer's tent, and you got to make your way back, do you think you lose some of that excitement along the way? Does it get a little anticlimactic as a winner?
If I'm running the customer experience, basically, if I'm running the live event, I ensure that wherever that champion finishes, we have some sort of like golf cart parade escort. It's ticker tape. It's try to find that way, because there's video boards everywhere. There's lights and laser shows and stuff.
You don't want the winner taking 15 minutes to walk back. Like,
and nobody's walking. I don't know if you. It's pretty dope. It was kind of a cool scene when they did it in London because they actually used like cabs, like the black cabs, the London cabs,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
to shuttle the players and everybody. I'm sure at the International out in Bolton, it's going to be just an army of golf carts, right? Especially those four seaters, maybe taking the players and their caddies out to their starting positions, and that's how they finish too, right? Everybody just hop on a cart and go back in. My point is, if you're not on 18, just making that would be my goal, and maybe it would be more fun. Now that I'm saying it would piss me off at first, maybe it would be more fun to not necessarily have it lined up and have it be a random draw, even having the you're the leader, but yeah, you're still going off on 8. The question I really want to ask those guys is, what and I'll be shocked if anybody would be willing, because I doubt they like doing the whole comparison thing. Who knows? Maybe they do. Maybe they enjoy saying, "Yeah, that's why I left, because these are pretty dope."
Look, if the live isn't doing this for the players, then they're not living.
Those things are dope.
Just let them ride this thing around the course. Let them have some fun.
Let the caddies ride that around the course.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love seeing that. Matt, because you know what would be great, seeing John Daly popping a wheelie out there on one of these, if he could. As Bud empties
only
his
thing
face.
John Daly is popping is tabs on Diet Coke and Coors Light and Miller Lite cans.
I've been seeing so much John Daly TikTok content. It's fantastic. I just love it.
He owns it.
There for
he's gonna be the next big thing again.
Yes, he is. He's making a comeback in a weird, different kind of way, and I absolutely love it.
He's a cult figure. I mean, and
the
people my age and older who remember him when he was, the creme de la creme, like kind of like what could have been if he wouldn't have been a gambling, drinking fool. Because, I mean, it's true. I mean, people even like Tiger say like the guy's got more talent. There's some great stories where, JD says that like Tiger looks at him and says, "John, if I had your talent, I wouldn't have to practice," like that kind of shit. Because the legend of John Daly is apparently, massive. He really is just like a savant. It'll be interesting to see how, we're going to be old enough to watch the next generation. Lil Jon is playing college golf at Arkansas. He's got an NIL deal with Hooters, which I think is a hoot, pun intended. Yeah, right. And I'm wondering what life's going to be like for Charlie Woods, because he's obviously a talented golfer. He's skilled. Everything going his way if he wants it. Maybe he doesn't want it. You could also see where, and no, that I'm trying to talk myself into something, but watching him play with his dad, and then like you see the videos, all the mannerisms and how he does everything the way that his pops does. I look forward to seeing, whether he does make it. I think that those are the kind of storylines that we have ahead.
We're gonna be around.
Sorry, but back to the live. I just derped out. Well, because then my mind comes, in 20 years is live so big that somebody like a Charlie Woods goes, I don't want to follow in my dad's footsteps and be compared to it for the rest of my life.
My own.
I want to, like. I doubt it. He's golf royalty, but I mean, you never know. The kid's 14. Maybe by the time he's 24, 25, especially as young men and young women get older, and I don't want to be compared to my parents. I want to go maybe, chart my own path. Maybe it's one of those things where, you offered my dad 800 million. He said, no, I don't have 800 million. I mean,
and dad ain't giving me 800 million. So
like the Shaq deal. Yeah, you gotta get two. What I heard him say, 2 degrees before you get any of my cheese. That's what he tells his kids. You got to have either two bachelors, a bachelor's and a master's. You got to have 2 college degrees in your own line of business before you get any of his money. I was like, damn, man. Fair enough.
Okay.
Good on you.
That's you got to teach somehow, I guess. But look, I thought it was a good PGA season as a whole. It seems like it went super fast. Maybe it's because we got this show going, but the season seems like it absolutely flew by. This whole year seems like it's flying by. So maybe that's just a me problem. But I am now excited to see if the Live Tour can fill a void of having some golf to watch here in this quote unquote off season. And look, we're gonna I call this episode the PGA season finale because we are going to be entering kind of our pivot season here. We're going to still kind of bring you the latest news, obviously, from the PGA world, the LIV world, the battle between them and that world. But we're going to pivot to some real life stuff. We're going to pivot to some football, some regional stuff here in the New England area. So if you are watching us from your Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, anywhere up here in New England or close by, look, we want to talk about stories that matter to all of you guys too. So we're going to be pivoting for a little while here until the PGA can pick it back up, so that we can bring you all of that latest, the good stuff there, and the betting stuff, and really bring the hammer for that season. We're gonna find some guests and we're gonna have a good time. But yeah, so this is gonna be a pivot point of the season. If you're gonna go out to see the LIV Tour, look for us out there. Both of us will be out there Friday. I'll be out there Saturday. Look for us. We're gonna continue this Keegan Bradley signed photo giveaway.
Keegs,
which I have right here in my hands. You can see there, authenticated.
Such a good visor.
And he's known for sure. So we're going to continue that through the weekend. And part of the way you can enter, you meet us out there. We'll get you entered into that tournament. So make sure you look for us. Me, Andrew, Bud. We'll be around. So it's going to be fun. It sounds like the end of the show there. We're still going to the half hour. I just felt like I needed to bring that up before I forgot about it, because I'm really.
I think you should. Did Hideki go to LIV?
I hadn't heard that.
Hideki Matsuyama. He's been slips away from LIV Golf as what? Hold on. Hideki Matsuyama slips away from LIV Golf as more big names bolt. Another week, another defection. According to multiple sources, Matsuyama would have landed a 9-figure deal had he gone. Okay.
So
he's not going. He was the 7th. I kept on hearing the number 7 float around as how many people are going, but it's Joaquin Neiman, Mark Leishman, Cam Smith, Cameron Tringale, Harold Varner III, and
it's Anirban Lahiri.
And Lahiri, thank you.
Yeah. So he would have been the 7th. Okay.
He would have been the 7th. And I'm sitting here looking at, because believe it or not, I call this year, because I absolutely dog stomped your ass in DK points once we started keeping track. But we're going to clean it up and tidy it up.
Once we started keeping track.
Hey, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I know.
But we're gonna press reset, because we're back live in 2 weeks. Fortinet, the 22-23 schedule starts out in Napa in mid-September. September 15th is when we kick things off.
We'll have to check the availability of DK contests though, because if my memory is serving me correctly, I believe they take a break from offering.
Probably with all the football.
Yeah, so I think they take a break. I could be wrong. I know they've been. I could be wrong. That maybe they changed this year because now they're offering the DP World Tour. They're offering Corn Ferry. So they're offering more. So maybe they do pick up these early season PGA events coming up. But we'll keep an eye out for that.
Goocher went, right? Taylor Gooch.
Yeah, Gooch.
He's over there. He's part of the lawsuit. All right, so this is what I was getting at. I'm looking at next year's schedule, and I started glancing over at the defending champion column. And so, starting at the top, and hang in there with me, because it does take a minute, not that long. But so, the defending champs, Max Homa sticking around, Sam Burns, Sung J M, Hideki. That's where I was like, is he gone? Nope. Rory, Lucas Herbert, Victor Hovland, Jason Kokrak. So Kokrak gone, right?
Yeah.
All right. Taylor Gooch gone.
Yep.
So Hovland's still around. Kevin Na and Jason Kokrak, the team event, gone. Cameron Smith, gone.
Yep.
Hideki was about to leave. Hudson Swafford, gone. Luke List, Tom Hoagie, Scotty Scheffler, Joaquin Neiman, gone. Sepp Straka, Ryan Brown, Scotty Shamlin, Cameron Smith, gone. Sam Burns, gone. Scotty, Chad, JJ Spawn, Scotty Jordan, Cantlay, Rom, Homa, Cage Lee, Burns, Horschel. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, now is when they all had already left, and nobody except for So I'm guilty of this, doing the whole, it's nothing but the over the hill guys. It's nothing but the people in the twilight of their careers.
Not really.
No, it's actually
there's a lot of up and comers.
A lot of guys who see this opportunity now. the whole thing about we want to grow the game of golf. I did see a very funny meme floating around, and it was a fake letter from somebody, and it's like, "Dear Greg," right? It was a back and forth. It was a text between him, this fictitious person, and Greg Norman. Yep. And it's like, I'm really talented. I'm super excited about what you're doing at Live, and I'd love an opportunity to to really grow the game with you guys. And Greg writes back and was like, "Sorry, our new thing is basically super exclusive. We only have a certain number of spots, and they've only gone to the highest people or the most popular, blah, blah, blah. Best of luck." And the guy writes back, "Well, are there any ways for me to get on the Live Tour?" And he's like, "Yeah, just go to one of the other major world tours, either the DP World Tour, PGA Tour, or anything like that. Win a bunch, make a name for yourself, make a bunch of money over there, and then possibly you'll have a chance to come over here." And it was the snarky back and forth where I was like, I see what you're doing here. And to their credit, that's what they wanted all along, right? Let's go poach the top people with money. Well, I didn't exactly get everybody they wanted, but it does look like they are poaching a bunch of talent. The coda to all of this is the beauty of golf is, unless you are Tiger or, of that ilk, you're a dime a dozen. You're a person who can shoot, low numbers under high pressure. And I say a dime a dozen, tongue in cheek. Yes, professional golf is fucking hard. Yeah. But there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of professional golfers out there who on any given Sunday, pun intended, the putter gets hot and their life changes. So I kind of get the opportunistic take of Cam Smith saying, "I want to fish more and I want to be in Australia more. And this is a buttload of money. How could I, Harold Varner, how could I pass up this kind of money? It's too good." I get that. I just think that people like Patrick Reed are going to once again be the butt of our fucking jokes because, I don't want to play as much golf. Well, now you're going to have to play twice as much golf just to survive. Because not just the PGA Tour, Live next year. They're going to like 14 events. These guys are all under contract to play in them all. Granted, they are 3-day events and they're global. Sure. I'm sure and the accommodations are dope and it is spaced out and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but what else are they doing for Live in the meantime, too? There's got to be they can't just be those 3 days of golf tournament. There's got to be some other obligations, especially in the growing phase right now. I would assume there's stuff that we just don't know yet.
Oh, well, I'm sure they play pro-ams and like we were saying, like corporate outings and, these people are investors. Will you go schmooze them for a few minutes? I got to blow my nose again. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself.
Fine. That's fine. I appreciate the mute, though. That's fantastic of you to do that. But... what was I just going to say? What's interesting about the Live, because you bring up the investors and whatnot. What's interesting about the Live coming here is something that when I told my mother that we were going to be going out there, her first question was, are you going to be safe? Is there going to be protesters? And I said, I'm going to be like, no, I don't think I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's funny because I guess just the other day out there in Bolton. A wedding party was mistaken by police for protesters because they were staying in tents on their property next to the International. And the police were walking the course and walked through the woods because they saw the tents, woke them all up, and then had to say sorry. Like, we thought you guys were protesters waiting to, come in and slam this place. And it was just a bunch of wedding party guests, probably drunk and hungover.
That's funny. That's funny as shit, actually. That's the right to protest in our country does exist. It's it's built in, but it also there's a time and place for all of it. And so, you get permits, you do things the right way, and if the town that you're in says you can stand outside the gates of that country club and do your thing, great. Yeah. If you're crashing certain scenarios, I've never been a big fan of that. You do have a right to your feelings and whatnot, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have a right to exercise them in my face at all times.
That's a great way.
No, I'm dead serious. It's like it's a big world. There's plenty of space for all of us, and so that is interesting though that they've got to be on high guard like that because of the publicity around it and the potential for it. I mean, that's the thing is if this wasn't legit, if this wasn't real, it wouldn't be getting this kind of attention and this kind of up in armedness, so to speak.
So do you expect to see any type of because I don't think I expect to see any out there. I don't.
First of all, Bolton is just outside of bumfuck, right? Like it's not exactly a thriving metropolis. Wonderful town.
I used to live like 2 towns over from there. So
that's exactly. So I mean, it's a beautiful, so quiet and sleepy. The international is kind of on the up and up. The local stories about how it was beautiful, then it kind of went downhill, and now it's on the rise again. There's a great opportunity for them to showcase it. And it appears to me like, it's just going to be some good golf, par 70, 6,900 yards, nothing too fancy. A lot of new, but what we learned from the country club and the US Open was New England style golf is that it's unassuming on the scorecard. Yes. And then you get on the tee and you're like, well, damn it. I can't hit it any more than $180 because, there's a cliff or something.
There's a freaking pine tree.
Yeah. Which I that's kind of what I'm jazzed about. You got these international golfers who maybe are used to link style golf, or maybe they're used to Florida because that's where they live most of the time.
This is wood style.
Yeah, this is tree line,
especially out there on Bolton. Like that's a lot of coverage out there.
I don't think we'll see it. They're going to be there because I guarantee you at this point now, they have gone to. There's going to be some protesters that have gone to every single one, and I guarantee you that's probably who they were looking for. In the woods. Mm-hmm. So will we see them? Sure. Will it affect or impact, my experience? Probably not. And they are capping Red 6,500 spectators each day. So, I mean, I don't know if that is out of any other maybe it's this size that they can accommodate. Maybe they're just saying, listen, we're not trying to make this, any bigger than it needs to be. But I do know that
it might be a town ordinance thing, honestly, because Bolton is that type of town. It's a smaller town. It's I believe where the international is. It's not far from like neighborhoods. So I think it might be
parking issues and
you said, it might be a town ordinance kind of thing, honestly.
So when we get there, which we should probably talk about that tomorrow. This is gonna be fun.
Yes. Which we will be able to start bringing you content tomorrow because we will have access to the press conferences starting tomorrow.
I was about to say all those new guys that names we just dropped. They're all on the docket.
They're all available, including Bubba's also available in that media day tomorrow as well.
That's right. Bubba from Baghdad is coming to start his kind of rah-rah cheerleading. I'm here for morale. Which again, guy like Bubba, when I say Bubba from Baghdad, look it up. Baghdad, Florida. Again, it's a little panhandle town.
Yeah, you're not making an off-color joke here. It's a legitimate.
No, it's no H in it though. I think it's just Bagdad, a couple hours from Tallahassee. So he talks about like I'm just Bubba. I'm just a kid. He's like I'm a dumb redneck from North Florida. He kind of makes those self-deprecating comments. So for him to be like, listen, this is a cool, exciting. He's always. Once he got his temper under control and realized that, life is okay and he's going to be okay. And his wife and his caddy actually did a lot of work with him back in the day. Once that got there for Bubba and he became kind of like fun Bubba, although he is a little Phil Dunphy-ish at times, but I think he leans into it. He knows that he's kind of that dorky cool. Once I saw that he was excited about this too, in his comments about really, really wanting to explore this team concept and this idea, I do think that I think that there's something to it. I don't know if it's going to stick around. I don't know. I mean, because after this first wave, how long do you have these guys? What if like 20 of the 48 golfers just have the shittiest year ever? I mean, it happens. Jordan Spieth a couple of years ago dropped from like number 2 in the world to like 278th. What if that happens all at the same time? They don't exactly have a deep bench unless they do.
What's nice about that though is that if 20 of the 48 have a shitty year, are you really going to notice? Because out of only
someone's anywhere.
Well, no. What I'm saying is someone's still going to win, and it might be if just about half the field is playing badly. With golf, you can easily say, "Oh, the course must be hard. They're all playing bad." You know what I mean? It all kind of comes back to earth a little bit. It's will you really notice? When with the PGA, when you have 300 so on. How many guys are even on tour with tour cards right now? But you have like a possible of like 300 or so guys who can play in a lot of these tournaments. 150, 156 actually in the tournament. You're gonna notice when the guys you're used to seeing all week start to play bad. You might not notice it as much with Liv if they all start playing bad.
Are you saying if everybody gains weight, then nobody's gonna notice we all got fat?
Well, I don't think we missed that. I think we're a little too keen on that. I did not miss Tom Brady's facial structure change all of a sudden after that 11 days off. I don't know if you noticed those pictures, but
I think that's some of the greatest conspiracy theory stuff going on
Look,
since Oswald.
I saw that picture. So Brendan Glasheen from over on DraftKings, he posted a picture of Tom Brady, or video clip actually of Tom Brady at a press conference, and I saw the video, looked at the face, and I just commented back to him and I said, when did his face become Skeletor? Like what happened? And it's look, there's a little smoke there, just saying.
Either that or he's just stressed out of his mind because he was supposed to be on vacation, relaxing with the family. And so he's doing his duty, but inside he's just dying because he wants to be at training camp. Yeah. Listen, don't. All right.
That face is weird now, though. I'm telling you, it's a weird face.
So Rory wins the FedEx Cup. We got Liv on Friday. More importantly, we got college football on Saturday with Georgia and Oregon at 3:30. I don't know. Georgia's getting 17.5, and I always hedge, pun intended again. Georgia plays between the hedges. I always hedge when with any kind of confidence with them because it's college football and it's too personal.
I have really no stakes in college football. My team.
What is your problem?
Boston College is my team. There is no stakes in it for me, really.
There's plenty of room on the Georgia bandwagon. As you know, as an alumnus, I am I think entitled to one, if not two, honorary seats. If you want to become a Bulldog, we're more than welcome to have you.
Same thing if you'd like to be on the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats bandwagon, Division II. We'll take you.
Did West Virginia Wesleyan?
Yeah.
I could get behind that. Can we? I told you years ago my favorite bowl of all time, and I still want to get the shirt, was the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. That was when the college bowl games really started going overboard with their branding and just letting everything kind of go to shit. Actually, I want to go back to Liv for a second because I might geek out and buy some swag. I'm kind of one of those gearheads where what if this is the last Liv event ever? Which no, it's not. I think they just said that the season-ending championship is going to be at Trump's course down in Florida, maybe, or another one of his properties. I have no idea. That was the wild card. They were like, yeah, there's going to be one in October. We just don't know where it's going to be. And I think it's going to be their, like, can't call it tour championship. They're just season ending, event.
Their party.
But when we get out there, is there any, like, I would honestly, again, old high school teammate, Hudson Swafford, would love just to say hi to him and be like, hey, go Dogs,
I'm sure, yeah.
But like, that's a personal thing. On a professional level, I'm jazzed. I'm jazzed to see Dustin. Look at me geeking out. I'm jazzed to see Dustin Johnson. I'm jazzed to see Brooks Koepka. I'm jazzed to see. Couldn't care less about Cameron Tringale. No offense to Cameron Tringale. I want to see Mullet Man. I want to see. I
want to see what some of these guys look like in person. As weird as that sounds, but like it's just you see them on TV, and to see them in person, just I don't know, makes them more human. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I remember the first time I saw Nick Faldo. Nick Faldo is built like a brick shithouse. He is 6'3" and like built like a doorway. Same thing with Greg Norman. Greg Norman he is like a doorway.
So is Faldo just behind the desk for them, or is he walking the course?
Faldo's not out there. I was just thinking
he's not out there. Okay.
No, he's not out there. I was just thinking of golfers the first time I saw them, and I was like, oh my God, like you're huge. Because David Flaherty is going to be he's out there walking the course for him.
I'm sorry, that's who I meant. You said I meant David Flaherty, not Nick Faldo.
David Flaherty.
He's who went over there.
Mr. Ferretwit. That's him on Twitter. Ferretwit. He's hilarious. He is again when he goes right. I think Gary Ford's over there. I mean, they've got some characters who are worth tuning into.
Yeah.
I still don't know if but the reason people aren't tuning in is because it goes back to what are they playing for? It feels like an exhibition, but I guarantee you the players are going, well, of course it's going to feel like an exhibition in the first year because it's the first year. Like this is the first time we've done it. Now next year there's something on the line. There's going to be some more consistency. I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden this becomes successful enough to where you do have a sub league where there's relegation. All right. You got your 48 live players, and then you're going to have 3 teams. So 12 players are going to rotate down to this like 5-team league down here where you can perpetually be playing golf professionally. Maybe that I could see it growing in that manner because there's no dearth of golfers. I mean, there's no shortage of talented golfers who want to do this for a living.
So I'm glad you brought that up though, because that has been a question that's been out there this week, is that what is going to happen to some of these lower name guys who've gone out there so far and played well on the live, but now that more guys are coming over and they cut it at 48 per event, like what is going to happen to these guys? Are they just going to have to sit out and not get paid, or like what's the deal? Like, so I guess that's one question. What do you think is going to happen to them? Two, I think a way to solve that would be the relegation idea. I love that idea. I love relegation in any sport. I just love what it does. I think
relegation's wonderful.
But it could lead into, like, say they do get big enough, what would stop Liv from going out and acquiring, I'm not saying a specific tour, but on the same level of like a Corn Ferry tour, and have that league be the relegated league. And then that gives everybody on that tour an automatic chance to move up to, you know what I mean? Like something like that is a built-in player.
Yeah, I think that's what they're. So Chase Koepka is going to be the inaugural member of this fictitious league that we're making up. But he's case in point. He got there. Well, Chase Koepka, by the way, he is a professional golfer. He's a damn good golfer. I think he's on the he's played in a handful of events over the years. And so it's not like he just got there because he's Brooks's brother, but I'm sure it was a package deal, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was kind of like, I'm going to sign with you and my uncle's going to be the new strength coach kind of deal. He's a strength coach, but he just wasn't the one you were looking for until you came. So Chase is going to be part of that 12-man, roster, like you said, that maybe it's not, maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it is all 16. Now you have to have relegation style, but saying that, like you said, if all of a sudden there's injuries, then can you go down from that league and bring somebody up, calling it up from the majors? Or
because their whole format hinges on 12 4-man teams. So there's got to be, like you said, if an injury pops up, there's got to be like a call-up system.
So 12 4-man teams, the Niblets, again, going to what what they've talked about their long-term vision is, the Niblets is going to be owned by businessman X, and the Niblets will officially sign 6 players, 7 players. They'll put a cap on it.
I see what you're saying. So it becomes like an actual team.
Yeah. So the Niblets might have 7 players. And all right, next week we're at this course. We know that you and you do well on this course. We're sending you out there. And then you've got your DJ, your stud that's going to be out there every week, no matter what, maybe your team captain. That's the long-term, idea for this, is to try to turn it into something like that. Because that answers the question of what do you do when somebody gets hurt? Well, you've got a bench of 3 guys right here.
Sure.
So maybe you have 7 players to make a 4, or 6 players to make a 4-team.
And maybe everybody's got to play a minimum.
Everybody's got to play 75% of the rounds,
rounds or something.
Yeah.
But it brings up another. Because that brings up another good point then, which could come to the whole LID and PGA coexisting. Do then those multi-million-dollar team owners turn around and say, no, because you're now my asset that I have a contract with you, I'm not letting you go play on another tour. I want you for my events and my events only. You know what I mean?
Yes, just the same way that if you're under contract for a team in the Premier League, that team has to give permission before you go and do a spot on the Bundesliga,
and they get financially, compensated for that time.
That's the direction it's heading, where because that's kind of where Jay Moynihan has a point. No, you made your choice. You want to go play over there, go play over there. Yeah. And that's how it's going to be. You're not going to use what we do to kind of get ahead. I don't think it's shitty or shady that they were trying to coordinate with the majors and say, keep these guys. It's lobbying. That's all it is calling people up and saying, I hear this is going on. Here's what we think you should do. And I'm sure
it sounds worse than it actually is, to the fact that they're doing that. But when you stop and really think about it, you're 100% right. They're trying to gauge where everybody is before they make decisions, before they, fire their fastball off. Like, they got to know where the people that they've done business with, like how they feel about the situation.
And I get the players and Live being like, what the hell, man? Like we should be able to go play wherever we want, whenever we want. I get that to a point, but if they were sitting in the commissioner's chair, that's why it's kind of like, it's tough to pass judgment on anybody for taking the stances they want. If you take a second and put yourself in their shoes, Commissioner Jay Moynihan, what's the best move for him to do? Yeah, draw a line in the sand, because if he were to say, sure, come one, come all, let's be honest, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that, cool, top 60 players, we're all going to sign contracts with Liv. Yeah. And so unless it's a major or the Arnold Palmer or the Players or the Memorial, we're going to be over there doing that. No.
Yeah.
So that's where the TGL is coming. That's where the increased purses are coming. Ironically enough, if somebody was doing the math, a guy like Rory traditionally plays 14, 15 times a year max. That's his minimum now under the new structure.
Yeah.
And the players are not saying they want to play less. They'll play 20 times a year. They just want 20 times a year with the greatest test that they can get. And I've heard
I'm sure they want to be, paid for 20 times per tournament as well. I'm sure that's a part of it too. They want to make sure if we're going to be forced to play more, we want to make sure there's more on the line that we can earn.
Yeah, because again, no disrespect to, I'll just say player X who's ranked, 100th, and they tee it up 20 times. Jordan Spieth tees it up 20 times. Who's moving the needle for the tour a little bit? You have to factor that in. This still is a business at the end of the day. And it's going to be one that with this new setup, with what the PGA Tour is offering, with this new Monday Night League that I am so fracking pumped for. I don't think we're gonna have to watch it live for the first one and just kind of
and I got to look more into the exact specifics of how it's gonna go and everything, because we're not gonna have the time tonight to talk about it if you know it all already. It sounded very interesting though to me. I just got to find the time.
I can give you. I'll give you 20 seconds of it. Monday nights, 2 hours, virtual golf with a real live in-house short game facility for those parts, and so that's the kind of nuts and bolts. Where they're just gonna basically kind of make it like esports meets Top Golf meets the golf simulator, and it's gonna be, we'll see how it works. Could be a fucking bust. It could be the thing that bridges the gap for sports fans between January and March. So all I know is that this upcoming Friday, we're gonna be out there early. Go ahead and follow, click subscribe. Look for us out there consistently. It's going to be a big weekend for Divots and Pivots, for Belly Up. We're super, super excited to go out to Bolton, Mass, and fly the upside down pig.
We are going to be live on every platform you can think of at some point during the day. But with video, with photos, with posts, whatever
we can do without getting kicked out.
Exactly. We'll be on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Everything's going to be posted everywhere. So if you're listening to us anywhere, you won't miss out. If we can find a way to put together some sort of quick, video where we give you some sort of breakdown of what's going on there, whether it's the end of the day or whatnot, we're going to find a way to get you guys as much possible content live from the course. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to try to meet people, try to get them on camera. We're going to do whatever we can. So keep an eye out. We don't even know how exciting it could be. So the unknown is exciting.
The unknown.
I lost my train of thought there for a second, honestly. So it just kind of faded off.
I want my allergies to clear up before we go, and I think they will. There's big storms coming through, but I digress. Yep. We got Live, then we got a week to talk about football, and then we got a week to talk about golf again, and then more football, and then more golf, the President's Cup. And everything's coming right around the corner. There's going to be plenty of divots and pivots to get you to the next golf season.
Yes, and if you are into football, go to the bellyupfantasysports.com website. You'll see my latest article where I break down the season from a fantasy perspective for the New England Patriots. I was not kind to them in there, so make sure to go read that on bellyupfantasysports.com.
Truth gun to your head. Do the Pats make the playoffs again?
No, they're going to be 7-10. No, I'm down on them hard after this offseason. So
8-9 if it goes well.
Yeah. So I started the season saying, the off season saying, like right around draft, I was saying, okay, they'll probably like a 9-8 team. I could see them maybe depending on how the AFC goes, they sneak in. But with the way the AFC West is, I don't see how you can. But you never know. But with the way the preseason's gone and the way camp has gone now, it's 7-9 or whatever
And Bill, we
the
trust.
turns out to be. Yeah, it's not going to be 7-10. I think. Sorry, 7-10 is what I said. But yeah, so go check that out. BellyUpFantasySports.com. My fantasy preview for the season of the Patriots, and my draft rankings will be up either sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. And they've been submitted. I'm just waiting for them to get posted. So check that out. Those will be updated weekly once the season gets going. So always go back, check out to BellyUpFantasySports.com for all your content throughout the season as well. And that's going to do it for us tonight until you see us again on Friday, bright and early, from the International, bringing you live tour golf.
Live live, love.
Live, whatever. But we're going to let Bud get some sleep here, cuddle up with his tissues, and end the night. So, as always, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Friday.